Yo, what's up guys, it's King Sean here, and in today's video, I will be recapping day 11 of Commanders training camp practice, which took place yesterday. I was too busy yesterday, I was out all day, so I wasn't able to record a video yesterday on the practice, but I will be posting it today, and I'll also be going over the tryouts the Commanders had yesterday, and the roster moves announced today, with the one draft pick getting cut from last year, and we will talk about him in depth in today's video. But before we do, make sure y'all leave a like down below, subscribe if you're not already subbed up, and turn on notifications. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into today's video. Alright, so let's start with the roster moves. This morning the Commanders announced the following roster moves. They signed cornerback Essang Bassey, cornerback Antonio Hamilton Sr., and linebacker Duke Riley. All three of those guys were tryout players yesterday, so we'll talk about them in a few. They also released Viliami Fehoko, defensive end, cornerback Alan George, and linebacker Dominique Hampton. Yes, former 6th-round pick from last year. They released him, Dom Hampton. We'll talk about him in a second. And then they placed tackle Lucas Niang on IR because he tore his ACL, DQ said yesterday, and Kevin Seymour on IR as well. I'm pretty sure his injury was serious as well. So those two guys will be out for the season, which is unfortunate for them, but you know, doesn't really hurt us really at all. So let's talk about Dominique Hampton, man, because we did release him, and this doesn't come as too much of a shock to me. When we signed linebacker Duke Riley yesterday, and I guess we should talk about him now. Linebacker Duke Riley, signed him yesterday. He was a 3rd-round pick for the Falcons back in 2017, so he kind of reunites with Dan Quinn since obviously DQ was with the Falcons back in 2017. He's been with Miami the majority of his career, really these past 4 years, and he's actually a rapper. He's made songs before. Yes, that's really what he's more known for, surprisingly, right? 31 years old. He has 283 career tackles, so, you know, there's that, but it's not like he's going to make the roster. He's just depth because right now our linebacker depth and the depth on the overall team is not looking amazing right now. And Duke Riley will come in to replace Dominique Hampton. So Dom Hampton, as we all know, drafted by this team last year in the 5th round. I think it was like the very back end of the 5th round, almost the 6th round. So Dominique Hampton, during this training camp, we really hadn't heard much about him. And remember, he transitioned from safety to linebacker last year. I wonder why they did that. Maybe it's because he just wasn't looking great at safety, or they felt like he would be a better linebacker in the league. I'm not sure, but during this training camp, really hasn't made any noise. And then the preseason game versus the Patriots on Friday, it was not good. Obviously all around, but our linebackers, and specifically Dominique Hampton, did not look good. I mean, Dom Hampton, he was getting pushed around. He didn't do a good job of filling in his holes or responsibilities, right? So it was bad, and I could tell that DQ was frustrated. The coaches were frustrated, and this move by cutting Dominique Hampton kind of shows that they were frustrated, disappointed with his performance, and they felt like he just wasn't, you know, showing out enough. And we still got Jordan McGee, we still got, you know, Cam Ladrano, so we're not like falling behind at linebacker, right? Like, we still got young guys that we can develop, but Dominique Hampton, he just wasn't, you know, looking right at linebacker, and we decided to release him. So wish Hampton the best of luck, but we released him because he was not showing much progress at linebacker. The team signing these guys they tried out yesterday and releasing some of the guys that were already on the roster shows that they weren't very impressed with the depth, and they worked out 14 guys yesterday. I won't read every name, but most of the guys were on defense, and 6 of the guys, actually 7 of the guys, were linebackers. So that tells you they felt like they needed more linebacker depth, better linebacker depth, so they released Dom Hampton and signed Duke Riley, and they also worked out 3 DBs and 1 DN. So again, they felt like they needed better depth at linebacker, just better depth overall on defense, and they, I would say, added some of that and released some guys on defense. So, you know, all the guys they signed, they won't make the roster, but it shows you that they weren't impressed with what they saw from the depth on Friday versus New England. So they decided to make some roster moves. want to talk about a couple of things DQ said yesterday in his presser. Won't spend too much on his presser, of course. He said he likes the safety room. He said he really likes the depth there. I am a little skeptical of the depth at safety, but I do like Juan Martin and Will Harris as starters. I think they'll be good. Still have questions about Tyler Owens and Percy Butler. Jeremy Reeves, he was really good on Friday versus the Patriots, in my opinion. He was one of our only bright spots in that game. He was a human missile in that game, man. I mean, anything he saw, he just hit. And I absolutely love that about Jeremy Reeves. So I thought he was really good Friday versus the Patriots. DQ said he has a lot of confidence in Jalen Lane returning punts, and I do as well, although he didn't get a lot of opportunities on Friday because the Patriots scored so many points, so many touchdowns, so they didn't punt a lot. I only think they punted like twice, maybe 3 times. So he didn't get a lot of opportunities to show what he can do, but I still have confidence in Jalen Lane. And then DQ was asked about kicker, and he said it was fair to ask about the situation, but they're not bringing in any competition for Matt Gay. Their hope is Matt Gay can be their kicker for this season and maybe for the next couple of years as well. So I still have some confidence in Matt Gay, but it's a bad look for him to miss his first kick, 49 yards. That's a kick you're supposed to make nowadays in the NFL, and he missed it. So it wasn't a great first impression for Gay. However, there is still time for him to get his stuff together, and hopefully by week 1, he can be fully locked in and just make his kicks. Just make your kicks, man. That's all we ask, because I'm not trying to look away whenever, our kicker has to go out there, kick a 50-plus yard kick, 45, 50-plus yards, right? I want to be comfortable with my kicker out there kicking field goals. So hopefully Matt Gay locks in for this season. Now let's get to some play-by-play. Not a lot of play-by-play yesterday, but we do have some during 11-on-11 drills. Nice blocks by Eckler and Jalen Lane to help Debo get open, so that's great to hear. Guys blocking Eckler and Jalen Lane. Eckler is known as a pretty good blocker, but it also is good to see Jalen Lane blocking as well. Marshon Lattimore had a good pass breakup on a pass to Jalen Lane, so that is really good to hear. And by the way, Jalen Lane, he continues to get first-team reps. And Ja'Cory Brooks, he even got first-team reps yesterday as well. So that is interesting. But Marshon Lattimore, man, he's had a really, really good camp up until this point. So it's great to hear that he has had a good camp, because Lattimore's the X factor for this season. Like, if he's good and Amos turns out to what we think he could turn out to be, and Mikey is really good in the slot, man, our cornerback trio will probably be the best in the division and possibly the best in the conference. So I'm super excited to watch Lattimore this year. Think he's going to have a strong bounce back season. The Jaden Daniels and Debo Samuel connection continues to shine. First pass of the day on 7v7s. Jaden hits Debo for a touchdown. The second pass, Jaden hits Debo again for a touchdown. So, I mean, it's daily at this point. We always hear that JD and Debo are connecting, and that's the one bright thing, or I guess silver lining, about Terry not being out there. Jaden and Debo continue to build the connection with one another, and that's just great to hear. And I've already said that I expect Debo to have a big year for us this year, especially with Jaden as his quarterback and Cliff as his OC. So super excited to watch their connection this season. And then Trey Amos, to end practice, made a really nice play on the ball. He was covering Luke in the back corner of the end zone. It was a pass thrown by Jaden. It was on target, but Amos batted it away. So that's great to hear. So again, Amos has been balling. He was really good in the preseason game on Friday versus the Patriots, and he continues to ball out during training camp. So I think Trey Amos is going to be so good for us. So that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're not already subbed up, and turn on notifications. Comment down below your thoughts on the roster moves made by the Commanders, including the releasing of Dominique Hampton. And comment down below your thoughts on yesterday's practice, which was day 11. And other than that, it's been Kayshawn, and I'm out. Peace.